This is not my TED Talk. I went into this year wanting to do something with albums because I was listening to two main ones a lot last year, Amnesiac by Radiohead and Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And these two albums in particular, their ending tracks give me chills whenever I listen to the album all the way through. So I really wanted to know why that happened. I wanted to know if there were more albums like this, or why this happened. So I started asking friends and family and people around me. And the big thing that came out is that this isn't really a thing that happens, primarily because in modern days, a lot of people listen to playlists, which I'm weird in that sense. I don't listen to albums. But an ending track on an album is only an ending track on an album if you listen to it all the way through in order. So when I started asking people what was their favorite ending track on an album, and they said I listen to playlists, I couldn't really do anything. And then I was talking with my dad a few months ago, and he brought up the point that it could just be that the reason I get these chills is because I listen to them in a certain environment. And this is where I get to my actual talk, musical memory, and essentially associating music with things, people, places, feelings, and whatever like that. So the first two songs I'm going to talk about are February Stars by the Foo Fighters and Spectre by Radiohead. And these two songs are my classic winter songs. The Foo Fighters one is a bit more on the nose, but I digress. But these two songs remind me of this feeling, where it's dark, it's snowy, there are maybe like street lights, I'm driving my car, I'm walking my dog. Whatever that vibe is, I get that whenever I listen to those two songs. And the opposite goes as well. Whenever I'm in these places, the only songs I feel like I can listen to are those songs. But it isn't just for winter. I have many other songs that for different seasons. For fall, one of my ones is Parachute by Coldplay, where I remember it being in my mom's store, and it was warm, it was cozy, the leaves were changing, it was the perfect fall vibe. For winter, I talked about this before, but Spectre by Radiohead, I remember vividly, last year on this very campus, I was walking to one of the other buildings, and it was snowing hard out, it was gray skies, I was wearing my jacket, and for lack of a better word, it was cinematic. And I can't think of the song without being brought back to that time. One of my spring albums is The Poison by Bullet for Valentine, where it's more fast, it's more heard, it's more in your face. It's my spring album because it's getting me out of the winter slump, it's more energized, and winter is more slower season as opposed to spring. And then for summer, I have Good Kid 4, which is more indie rock, it's more upbeat, it's more bright, and it's my summer album because it reminds me of all the time I spent, particularly last summer. So I was talking with some friends, and one of them brought up a theme for New York, New York, and he said that it reminds him of New York, but specifically like Christmas, snowy, New Year's Eve, ball drop, and all that kind of stuff. My dad, after he graduated from UVA, he spent his time traveling the world, and he spent 2 years in Japan. And this album by Yo La Tengo is very Manhattan, very New York, very city-oriented. But he does not associate this album with anything to do with New York. He associates it with his time in Japan. I have another friend here who was in Spain the other year, and in Toledo, he was looking at these hills, and he was listening to The Search by NF. And similarly, whenever he listens to that song, he is brought back to those hills, to Spain, to his time, and he remembers his time in Spain. So this may feel pretty intuitive, but whenever you see new things, experience new things, your brain wants to attach that to something. And I am particularly guilty of this since I always have headphones and I'm always listening to music. But that new thing is more likely than not a new song, a new album, a new whatever. So why does this matter to any of you? This past winter, I was listening to two songs by Deftones, Cherry Waves and Entombed. And I remember vividly, for both these songs, a very conscious and active thought that I now associate these songs with winter. It didn't happen a year after I was listening to it, it didn't happen 6 months after, it happened while I was listening to it for like the 5th time in the car while driving in snow. So what I'm trying to get at here is that you can tailor what you want to listen to and how you want to remember it by. For instance, I'm in my senior spring, and I'm probably going to want to choose a song so I can remember it this time vividly. and going into my first year of college, graduate school, whatever not, I'm going to be trying to curate my playlists, my songs, to do all that. And I encourage all of you to do the same. If you find a new place, a person you want to remember, a time you want to remember, try listening to new music, and hopefully you can remember that place using these songs. Thank you.